Yes, sure. There's at least one suspect still at large. Again, we know that we've had several recent carjackings with this same MO involved, and so we'll be continuing that investigation into all these carjackings.
How many times was the suspect hit?
Several. I'm told he's shot in the arms and the legs. How many times exactly? Again, that will be part of the investigation.
And that's the 21-year-old.
Yes.
So we're not releasing his name yet.
Not at this point.
So when they were sitting at the stoplight, had they been following the car for some distance?
Yeah, yes, they had been following this car. I won't go into all the particulars and the tactics that are used by our officers, but suffice it to say that they had this car under surveillance, and they were awaiting, they had already run the plate, and they were waiting for that information to come back to tell them more about this car. While they're waiting, they just kept it under surveillance, but they did come to a stop, an electric signal with this car, and they were just right, not behind it, but alongside of it, but a little bit back, when the suspect exited that vehicle with this rifle and pointed it at the officers.
Can you talk a little bit about the weapon in the box there? Is that a surprise to you when you look at something like that these days, of what you're seeing on the streets? Sadly,
this is not a surprise to me. Our officers encountered this style of weapon, and again, I've spoken before about this. This is the same style weapon that we've had other officers shot with. And our officers encounter this weapon on a daily basis, and really, again, it talks about the danger of this job and the work that our officers do on a daily basis in this city. So this is the type of people who they are encountering, the weapons they are encountering, that they're doing a very good job out there, but they are encountering very dangerous individuals.
Was this particular AK semi-automatic or fully automatic?
That'll be up to the firearms lab. This is literally from the street to here to show you the type of weapons that we're coming up against. But when the firearms examiners do their investigation, they'll be able to tell us everything about this weapon. In fact, I just learned that this particular weapon is reported stolen out of Jefferson County.
Have any number on the recent carjackings? The number of ballpark even?
Well, I know that we've had at least 6 that match this same MO. But we know that we've had an increase in the carjackings. But I also know that carjackings are up in the region as well.
All in North City, more or less? Or?
We've had them all throughout the city. And again, they have experienced the same type of carjackings in St. Louis County as well.
And these officers were on specific duty to watch.
This is recently the St. Louis City as well as the region has been experiencing an increase in carjackings. Specifically carjackings involving suspects armed with assault rifles. Today at about 11:20 a.m., detectives from our Special Operations Division were investigating those carjackings. They were in the 5900 block of Page when they observed a Nissan Altima, which they suspected of being involved in these carjackings. These officers were in an unmarked police car, but were wearing full police vests with police written across the front of it. While they were waiting on information to come back from the computer on the Altima, they were stopped at an electric signal when one of the occupants of the Nissan Altima got out of the vehicle armed with an AK-style assault rifle, pointed it at the officers and directed them to get out of the vehicle. The officers, and we do not believe at this time that they knew that they were police officers. The officers at that point exchanged gunfire with the suspect. The suspect was shot, struck, and he fell. The officers then turned to the vehicle. The vehicle sped away with at least one other occupant. That vehicle was recovered in the 1200 block of Hamilton just a short time later. That vehicle was taken in a carjacking in St. Louis City in mid-October, 5400 block of Genevieve. The officers are 9-year veterans, 34 and 36 years of age. One officer was struck by glass and fragments, and he has some facial injuries. He will be treated and released. The suspect is 21 years of age. He is at an area hospital. He's in surgery right now with wounds to his arms and his legs, but these injuries do not appear to be life-threatening. He is not a resident of St. Louis City, but he is a resident of North County. And we'll have more information on him as we proceed through our investigation. Again, we have some suspects still at large that we're looking for. The investigation is continuing, and I'll update you as we go along. Are there any questions?
Can we see the weapon?
Certainly may, Sergeant. It's still evidence. This is evidence officer, Sergeant. He can show you the weapon. And of course, the magazine is there.
This is the actual weapon?
This is the actual weapon that was used today. The officers encountered these type of weapons almost on a daily basis.
How would you describe it?
That's an AK-47 style assault rifle. That is a 30-round magazine. In the envelope that's there, the brown envelope, were the live cartridges that were contained in that magazine. He found with one rifle had one round in the chamber as well.